Our first franchise of the year, everybody. In MLB The Show 26. Has been decided by Warrior throwing money at my face in the way of gifted subs. But you know what? I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. Of course, these are the two new options. Streamlined is them kind of integrating March to October into the deal, which I do like March to October a lot. It's a shame it's not really fully in the game anymore, but obviously we're going to do the full control. He said, hey, use this team, and I will, and we'll talk about that team in a minute, mainly because I wanted to scroll through and see what the highest rated teams were and the lowest rated teams happen to be. Grass. And thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate that. And Colorado's not last. Colorado's not last. The Dodgers are first, of course. Who's ranked dead last? Mets are apparently third. Pirates aren't last. Who the hell's last? Washington. That makes sense. Okay. If it's not going to be Colorado, it probably makes sense it was Washington. Also, you can select all 30 teams. Also, might we get into streamer versus chat at some point? Yes, but before that, it's Pope to Glory. We are going to be using the 27th ranked Chicago White Sox. Chicago. And this is going to be our test run to see, okay, with changes they talked about for franchise this year, are things working properly? Stuff like that. Like, what's the status of franchise mode this year before we get into the ridiculous stuff? Shout out to Alpha packing a Ronald Acuna Jr. That's right, I spoiled it for you. Of course, we're going to turn off GM contracts because we want to mess around with it as much as possible. Of course, computers are allowed to make trades. Ignore budgets. Nah, we'll leave that. Force trades, leave that off. Shout out to female rosters as well. But we will leave all of that as good to go. And for the moment, in fairness, lineup and rotation can still be automatic. So can injury management. Shout out to Soap for gifting a sub to Pope Leo. Scouting will be manual. Everything is manual. But arbitration I want to deal with, but renewables, I'm so glad for this. Definitely automatic. That is such a nice change. But arbitration, I think we still want to be a little bit hands-on. I think we do. Look at Alpha, packing good stuff. Can I turn that off? Those conditions are fine. Of course, we're not typically very gameplay heavy, and we will start off in spring training as we do. Cutscene? For franchise? Look at us. Look at us. That's right, fellow franchise players. We too are deserving of a cutscene, damn it. At least once. A cutscene in my franchise? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm excited to see if we get DMCA'd for this or copywritten like on YouTube. You used improper usage of MLB licensed footage. Straight to jail.
Nastiest, dirtiest pitches we have seen from any pitcher.
Did I change your time zone to download? I did not. I did not. Just wait until they have one between every inning. Can you imagine? Oh boy, Brando! God, hey, remember when it looked like the Mariners might make the World Series and then they didn't? That was disappointing. That was disappointing. No express written consent of Major League Baseball. It's over. Straight to jail. Straight to jail. Remember when Ohtani ripped the Brewers apart? That was a fun time. I watched so much of the 2025 postseason. It was absurd. I really need to turn off those alerts. Hey, remember when the Toronto Blue Jays blew it in the World Series and absolutely choked? I'm sorry, but for both the Mariners and the Blue Jays, go fuck yourselves for letting the Dodgers win another World Series. Especially the Blue Jays, who choked the World Series. My God, did they choke the World Series away. There's no, oh, but the Dodgers. Oh, no. The Blue Jays choked. God damn it, they choked. And now we're going to have a lockout at the end of this upcoming season because everyone's like, who can beat the Dodgers? The Blue Jays could have. They just had to not choke. Damn it. Shout out to Carnat Titan for the 50 months. We will not be gaslit into forgetting. There will be no forgetting. Oh, goodness. All right, so menu-wise, it is the same, which isn't necessarily a problem. You know? Manager mode, decision timer. I'm not really worried about that. We're not really worried about player locking. We'll figure that out. Control-wise, I'll figure that out. Gameplay style, all that's fine. All right, we don't have to worry about any of that at the moment, which is good. Take over the Dodgers and just release everybody, right? Again, all of that should be fine. Computer handle the arbitration. You know, I actually might turn that back on to auto here because I want to see how the AI handles their business, right? I want to see if they do anything dumb. So the top prospect list, the first time you load up franchise, Connor Griffin as the number one. I can't disagree with it, mainly because he already ripped the Red Sox to shreds in a game, which is still nuts. Obviously career stats, contract status, the quirks that they happen to have, their rewards, and then player card shortcuts. That's not bad. Hope the trade logic is better. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. Kevin McGonigal, Leo DeVries, Jesus Amade, Colt Emerson, top 5. Sam Losalo's in there, Max Clark, Noel McLean, Eli Willits, and Diosu De Paula. The top 10 to start. Treya Savage listed at 15th. Weather holds up there. Final, what's going on, man? Eldridge. Bazana at 24th. Peyton Tolley, what a guy. Said, this is the initial top 100. I'm probably only going to look really at the top 50. All right, and then obviously you can still sort by organization. And, of course, it does show where your team ranks, which is really nice. So we have the 15th dead center in terms of prospect pool, so we do still need a lot of work. We do inherit Murakami, which I'm excited about. Starts off with 74 power. See potential. He's not going to get that much better. Make it 17 mil this year and next. That's not too bad. Situational hitter, bad ball hitter. Okay. I mean, we love ourselves some Murakami. That doesn't mention, that's just by organization. Okay. Fair enough. That's not too bad then. That is not too bad then. Manager-wise, training looks like it is, and it is exactly the same. Which is fair. It's fair. It's not the worst system in the world either, to be fair. It could be a little bit more fleshed out, I would say, but that's all right. Then front office, do have high A team, which is good, of course. Trade hub, GM goals. Okay. Well, really quickly, let's get a look at our roster then that we start off with. Red Sox legend Kyle Teal as our top catcher. We got Corey Lee, Edgar Queiroz there as well. who I definitely think we'll be sending down to AAA. Josh Brew, Drew Romo, Adam Hackenberg, Michael Turner, and Jackson Appel. And at least we got Edgar Caro and Kyle Teal. That's not that bad. We got a first base. Murakami, Lamont Wade, Tim Elko, Ryan Galaney, and Lyle Miller Green. It's a good thing we got Munataka. I'll say that. Second base, Chase Majeroth, Lennon Sosa. All right, we don't have too much going on at second base. I mean, Majeroth is okay, but third base-wise, oof. Nobody better than a C, and the youngest guy is 25-year-old Curtis Mead. That's looking pretty rough. Shortstops, though, Colson Montgomery's in there. Caleb Bonemer. Mr. Bonemer. Billy Carlson's also listed as a good prospect. He's a C potential, Left field, Andrew Chickentendies. Oh my God, Jared Kelenic. And just nothing. Nothing in left field either. Center field also isn't great. Luis Angel Acuna is not bad. Fast as hell. 71 in fielding. He's all right. He's all right. And then right field, Austin Hayes, but he's 30. Braden Montgomery, but he is only a 64 at 22. Definitely a lot of holes in this lineup, we'll say that. Starting pitchers, Shane Smith, Anthony Kay, Sean Burke, Davis Martin, and Jonathan Cannon. They do have Noah Schultz and Hagen Smith, though. Okay. And that is it, apparently, for B potential guys or higher. Oof. Bullpen, Grant Taylor. You know, veterans like Sean Newcomb, Ryan Barucki, but not much in the way of players up and coming. Not much. Sir Anthony Dominguez as a closer, Lucas Sims and Jairo Iriarte. Oof. Cody, not sure. I presume so, though. Current roster strategy rebuilding. Yeah, you don't say. You don't say. And that is what we are looking like here. Highest rank by position is shortstop, 14th in the league. And in terms of starting pitching, left field, third base, catcher, relievers, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Oh, man. I gotta remember how to turn off those frickin' alerts. Not collections. Universal profile, isn't it? Please? Nope, it's not universal profile. How the hell do I turn off those alerts again? I don't even know. Is it the inbox? There we go. Inbox settings. Turn everything off, please. And thank you. Plenty of room to improve. No kidding. Shout out to Danny Columba, who just signed with the Red Sox today, I believe. So, I mean, in terms of improving the team through free agency, like we definitely could. That screen's a bit weird how it kind of cuts off the player head and a bit of information. So it's like, yeah, could we bring in a Zach Little, a Lucas Giolito to technically improve the rotation? Yes, but also, why? Right? Why would we do that? There's really no reason to. It's still a bit of a shame free agency-wise. We can't sort through other ways. God, 42-year-old Charlie Morton. Let's go. Gonsolin, Marcus Stroman's out there. But, I mean, outside of being like, oh, Corey Humphrey's a C potential at 24. Outside of that, Giancarlo Julio's a C potential. Like, outside of snagging up a couple of C potential guys here, there's not going to be much. And yeah, we definitely don't want to add to this team in a big-time way. Well, again, we can see if there's If there's anybody like 24. Okay, that dude's a freaking 47 overall. Justin Turner's still in. God damn. Basically, if there's anybody over a 60 overall who's 24 or younger, like maybe we'll bring them in. I think that would make sense, but outside of that, we just kind of roll with who we have. And just run with it for better or worse. And let's be honest, it's going to be worse. Eggy Rosario. This team should be very bad. Come on! I turned off the alerts. Congrats to OG, though. He deserves all the good packs. Joe De Los Santos. Let's bring you in for the year. You're a player. Oh, we got a full roster. Never mind. I lied. There you go. Perfect. We're all set. All right, OG's packing everything. All right, here we go. We're going to try this again. Settings. Everything's off. Yet. The alerts are still popping up. Go figure. And again, we'll have to change it up. Trade Hub, though, is nice. This is one of the big new things that they advertised for it. Market sentiment. A seller's market. Trade prices may be inflated due to a small number of teams looking to sell. Positional markets and abundance of relievers could lead to bargains. And there could be bidding wars for starting pitchers. To receive offers, you need to fill out your trade block. That I do. Rumor-wise, there's nothing. But in terms of our trade block, buying, selling, or standing pat, well, we would definitely, in theory, be sellers. You can add your trade targets, and of course, you can identify the positions of need to help the trades happen. So again, that's the big thing, in case anybody missed it, or at least one of the big things, is that idea of trades are no longer instantaneous, you know? Any change, you'll browse uniforms, equipment. Given that you're the second person to ask about the uniforms, I could probably just scroll through them. To my knowledge, though, again, there's nothing new beyond what was in the game at the end of last year, but we could double check. Oh, goodness. All right, so it mentioned it being a good market for starters. I mean, we have Anthony K, 2-year deal. I don't know. It's like, would we want to put, like, Davis Martin up there? I guess that could be a good test. Like, would Davis Martin be able to fetch us anything? And then reliever-wise, like, is Sean Newcomb. First year of a free agent contract, can't be traded before June 15th. All right, what about Ryan Barucki? Is Ryan Barucki the way? I cannot believe they are paying Sir Anthony Dominguez $10 million a year. That's nuts. Also, you got 20 spots on the trade block, which is pretty sweet, too. But if we were to look here, catcher-wise, I mean, Edgar Caro could definitely be used, but, man, he is still probably best suited as a AAA option. Do we have anybody that was even worth anything? We're keeping Murakami, because that's fun. I can't imagine Lamont Wade is worth anything, but we'll try. Madroth, Sosa. Again, third base, we just have nothing. Shortstop, Colson Montgomery. I guess that's our one issue right now, is we don't really have that much. Dude, Benintendi's counting for $15 million a season. Jesus. What are we doing here? We could see if Derek Hill has any value. I doubt it. But we got to test this system a little bit. And honestly, we're probably just going to want to keep Austin Hayes to at least be a half-decent filler player. So, you know, we got a couple of people up there early. Untouchables for us. Kyle Teal's not going anywhere. Murakami's not going anywhere. Chase Madroth isn't going anywhere right now either. Third base, totally open. Shortstops, Colson's not going anywhere. Bonnemer and Carlson aren't going anywhere. I guess maybe Carlson could. It's only a C. But, yeah, we'll say we're holding on to them for now. Did I miss somebody? I didn't. Left field, we'll say that we're holding on to Benintendi for now. Just because. We'll stay loyal to that contract. Acuna's not going anywhere. Austin Hayes isn't going anywhere. Braden Montgomery isn't going anywhere. Gonna hold on to Shane Smith because without him, what do we have? Same with Sean Burke. Schultz, Hagen Smith. God damn, we really don't have that much, do we? We really don't. We are going to, in fact, need the Pope on our side for this one. But I really wish these alerts would stop popping up. Trade target-wise, I'm not worried about much. In terms of the positions... Hello? Okay, so problem number 1 I have identified. There is nothing that indicates me going... So right here, right? I'm at the top on starting pitcher. I hit down towards relief pitcher, but there's nothing that showcases that I am currently looking to set relief pitchers up. Like, there's no flash, there's no indicator that, like, oh, right, relievers are selected. So, like, right now, for all I know, I could be in here. Yeah, see, until you scroll down, you're like, okay, I'm on right field. So that's a little bit weird. That's a little bit weird. But obviously, like, our biggest positions of need, it is left field. We need another outfielder with respect to Andrew Benintendi. We need a third baseman, and we definitely do need some starting pitching. Starting pitching. There we go. So that will be our setup here, and we'll see what type of offers we get, if anything. It is just the start of spring training. Again, we have firing set to off, just because I like to stick with the team, right? Budget-wise, $45 million available. Okay. I mean, Murakami's our highest paid player at $17 million. It's not a ton. The Flash came back after you had players selected. Yeah, well, what I mean, right, is like, again, if I were to do this and then hit that, it's weird. It's a bit weird. Could be a glitch, yeah, for sure. Staff contracts. Will Venable as our manager. Oh, boy. Honestly, I don't think we want to pay the money to buy out these deals. We'll just deal with it. Scout-wise, though, what can we do to upgrade here, if anything? So all of this is the same in terms of staff management, stuff like that. How do the launch rosters look? To be honest, I haven't looked. We just kind of jumped in the franchise and wanted to deal with it, mainly because I do not need to have any sort of temptation to care about rosters whatsoever, you know? I do not need that in my life. Cannot afford this contract at that time. Boo. I do only have 30 grand left. Ugh. Right. So, Jack Rivera, can we bring you in instead of Isabel Gillett? There we go. Can't wait for our top pick to regress at 23. So that's another thing that they said that they fixed, that they've worked on. We're going to put that to the test. And a prospect promotion incentive for 2026. So we would get that incentive for Noah Schultz. Billy Carlson. I don't plan on calling people up until they're ready, regardless of the incentive. Acuna is going to make our roster, though, so... Can you increase the scout budget? It goes up as your overall team budget goes up. So, budget goes up the better that you do, right? So, I mean, I guess we'll see. I don't know. Do we want to call up Noah Schultz? Carlson's a 64, man. Yeah, I think for some of these guys, we say, screw the old incentive. Although maybe we'll come back. Maybe we'll come back. But yeah, that's the other element to it as well, right? Is like, okay, the old prospect promotion incentive versus, they're not going to win Rookie of the Year or anything like that. That's not how Jerry Reindorf manages his budget. I mean, Jerry Reindorf does what Jerry Reindorf wants, goddammit, and he's the smartest man in baseball. Probably. So lineups, again, we do have set to automated. This was another element where the AI is supposed to be smarter in terms of how it's setting up the lineups. It's supposed to be a lot more realistic to what we're seeing out of modern baseball in terms of lineup construction. You know, we're finally out of 2007. We'll see if that's the case, especially once we're out of spring training. But, you know, the fact that, like, okay, for example, Cleveland has Jose Ramirez batting second, that's promising. Detroit has Riley Green in that second spot. And then obviously, like, power-wise, they got Carpenter in third. So, I mean, that's not that bad. And we'll see how the AI adapts based off of player performance. But yeah, you notice the idea of like, oh yeah, like your best overall hitter, you know, bats second or first. Like, obviously super high on base is what you want in the leadoff. And we'll see if Collins can provide that for like Kansas City and everything. But yeah, that's definitely the theme. No longer is Buxton hitting like third or fourth. He's higher up in the lineup. That is pretty consistent. Jordan's going to be batting second at the moment for Houston. So far, so good. Trout's in that 2 spot for the Angels. That's not bad. That is not bad. God, man, Nick Kurtz starts off at an 88. This guy's freaking electric. I can't wait until he leaves. Until he leaves the Athletics. It's a long ways away from happening. That fan base deserves him. That ownership group does not. But yeah, for example, right, the Mariners have Cal Raleigh in second. But again, we haven't even played a spring training game yet, so that's likely to change. That is likely to change. What fan base? Don't hate on the Athletics. Don't hate on Oakland. That was a hell of a fan base. That was one hell of a fan base that got absolutely shafted. I am an A's fan. Well, you got absolutely shafted. So you, above all, know that you can't blame people for being like, yeah, we're not supporting this shit anymore. What fan base? Stop it. The ones who are smart enough to stop supporting the team, given that you're still apparently an A's fan. Contract extensions for next year. Is there anybody that we're worried about this early? Probably not. Probably not. Outside of, like, Austin Hayes. Who, shockingly, you can't see their age from here. See it elsewhere. Weird. If we were to keep Austin Hayes beyond this year, he wants 8.8 mil. We'll come back to that. There's a chance he gets traded this year anyway. I think he's on our untouchables list at the moment, but we can obviously change that pretty quickly. So let's get through spring training. We're not going to worry about it too much. I mean, obviously right now, the game plan is simple. We're breaking out the tanks. Sean Newcomb's already hurt. That's sweet. All right, so in terms of this roster, let me remind myself of who was on that incentive list, just in case we decide to go in that direction, which we might. So catcher, Kyle Teal, Corey Lee, pretty straightforward. Edgar Caro's going to start down in AAA. Yeah, Drew Romo can be the starter in double. Rockies might have been a tougher test. Maybe. I mean, honestly, they weren't that much lower ranked. It was 2 spots. But the White Sox were requested, so here they are. Here they are. Honestly, you know what? Like, Josh Breh as a D potential. Let's get he and Hackenberg out of there. Those guys just aren't going to do anything. So Michael Turner can be the backup catcher in AAA. Jackson Appel in double. First base, we got Murakami. Probably a Lamont Wade Jr. as the second choice. We do need a spot to be opened on the 40-man. So we'll swing back to that. Second base looks pretty straightforward. Majoroff and Sosa. That works. And we will go triple, double. Pretty straightforward there. Third base. Anybody extra? Okay, so Mead and Murray are both on the 40-man. With really no reason to be. But Vargas and, yeah, probably... You know what? We might as well leave Mead there. And just have him be the backup on the Major League roster. Yeah, so Tanner Murray, you're going down to Double-A, and we'll get you off of the 40-man roster. And that works out. So now we go back to first. Lamont Wade, welcome to the Major League roster, buddy. We'll go with Galanian triple, Green in double, and we had an extra third baseman. That is Hernandez, who can also go to double. Shortstop. So Colson Montgomery was on our list, but so was Bonemer, good old Bonemer, and Carlson for that prospect incentive. But yeah, I think obviously again we take our time, right? Because it's that whole idea of winning an award, and it's just not going to happen for any of those guys. The only one actually, in fairness, yeah, none of them it's going to happen for, except maybe Acuna, because he's going to be on the roster anyway. So Montgomery at short, William Bergola. You might as well make it to the 40-man in a minute, pal. You might as well, but let's look at the outfielders first. Oh, my God. Okay, Baldwin, Hill, and Peters are all in the 40-man. I guess we'll go with Baldwin. So, indeed, we'll put Hill through waivers. Peters can go down. We'll get him off of the 40-man, too. And then Everson Pereira does not need to be on the 40-man right now. If he gets claimed, he gets claimed. So Mr. Borgola, welcome to that Major League roster, pal. So we'll have Caleb as the AAA starter, with Weber behind him, and then Carlson will be the AA starter. And Kyle Lodice behind him. Lodice? I'm not sure. So that outfield. Benintendi, Acuna, Baldwin, and Hayes. Sure. Oh, man. AAA options there. Man, this is going to be slow and steady for sure. All right. For the moment, because we got to wait to see who's going to go where, I got to wait for those waivers to go through. Actually, it's fine for now. And again, Braden Montgomery's definitely not getting the call-up. We want to take a look at the closers. That situation's fine. Starting pitchers. 2, 3, 4, 5. If we want a sixth, it could be Thorpe based on his age. Kai Bush. Ugh. I mean, relievers, we have more veterans there, I guess. So, Thorpe, you're off that Major League roster. Okay, well, we got to use Paez. Never mind. Send down him. Send down Barros. And then for the relievers, we'll try to get Ryan Barucki back into the majors, I suppose. Oh, man. Whew, they are trying to bank on a whole lot of relievers, most of whom are not very good. Alexander Alberto has to play. Yikes, man. Yikes, yikes, yikes. This team is going to suck. This team is going to be very, very bad. At least we should be. About time this team is somehow competitive, we're going to be in a rough spot. Yeah, we're going to DFA Jordan Hicks here because he is not good. And in theory, we want to send down 2 more dudes for the moment. We'll call them back up. But Gilbert goes down. Eric Fetty can get the old DFA. All right. And then from AAA, just like McDougal, go down to high A for the moment. Okay. Right. So spring training is done. We head to the start of this regular season. We start off the year against Milwaukee. You know this is going to be fun. But, all right, have those waiver options gone through? Not yet. So I'm not going to fully be able to set up the team as I want to set it up right now. We got to wait for those waiver options to go through. So let's sim through the first couple days. But actually, before that, scouting doesn't unlock it. Shout out to Ellie for the 9 months. We have no sponsorships available. That makes sense. Trade Hub, market sentiment, still a seller's market. Bidding wars for center fielders and shortstops. Okay. Not bad. What is that Brewers logo? It looks like it still has a lot of the spring training stuff going on. All right. I love to switch back to no instant trades. Me too. All right, there we go. All right, the waivers have gone through or not gone through. So again, at catcher, everything there was good. First base, Murakami's already picked up an injury. That's not good. A little bit of back stiffness, but damn, man. You just got here. All right, Lodice needs to go to Double A. Louie, what's going on, man? All right, so outfielder-wise, we have our 4. Who else can we get in there? We got 1, 2, 3. Okay, Riku Nishida. D potential, you're probably down to Double A. All right, who is not going to make that Double A roster? Kelenic, remember when he was something for like 3 weeks? Remember that one home run he hit and then, yeah? All right, so Sprinkle as a C. Baker will send down as a D potential. And we'll send down Varus. Double A outfield's not looking too good, I'll say that. And then starters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's going to be 6 there. So Schultz can go to triple. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And Double A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Perfect. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Alberto. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then Double A. We got 1. We got 2. 3, 4, and 5. A David Sandlin. What a time. And then just a bunch of relievers in high A. Actually, we got room for 1 more dude in triple. So that'll be Brandon Isert. We'll call that guy up instead. Okay. Actually, I lied. There we go. Okay. Well, the question is, what is ye old manager going to have this lineup looking like? So the rotation right now, sometimes managers will start the next game with a relief pitcher. Again, the fact you got bullpen games now are great. Throw a bullpen game, remove a starting pitcher from an empty slot, and choose the opener for the bullpen game, which is pretty cool. So this is our rotation for season 1 with the White Sox. Shane Smith, Davis Martin, Sean Burke, Anthony Kay, and Jonathan Cannon, with Yerixin Paez as a long reliever. And then Mike Vassell, Alexander Alberto, Sean Newcomb, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Ryan Barucki, and Grant Taylor in the pen. Dominguez is a closer, but it is running Taylor as the closer. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that too. Of all the pitching staffs I've ever seen, that is sure one of them. Our lineup ends up looking like this. Got Madroth, Kyle Teal, Colson Montgomery, Benintendi, Austin Hayes, Brooks Baldwin, Lennon Sosa, Miguel Vargas, and Curtis Mead, at least at the moment against righties, with Murakami not being 100%. Damn. And then lefties subs in Acuna in center. I mean, hey, at least Colson Montgomery's good, right? At least he is good. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we could definitely put in Acuna over Baldwin. I'm trying to see what the AI's justification might be. Especially, too, the extra speed. I mean, that bit of extra defense. Well, yeah, because Acuna's a much better fielder, too. Maybe the AI is just factoring in the switch hitting? I'm not sure. Maybe. Browse, what's going on? What's up, what's up? Yeah, we'll see if... I'll give it a little bit. I'll give it a couple weeks, and I'll see if he's playing Acuna or not. Could just be a matchup thing. I mean, literally, we've played one game so far this year, right? So, we'll give the AI a little bit of time to prove themselves here. A little bit. Yeah, we're 4-4 to start the year. That's better than I would have thought. That is better than I would have thought. Yeah, it still has Taylor as the closer. And it is still using Acuna against lefties, but not against righties. Which, I mean, yeah, Baldwin is better against righties, so I suppose that makes a bit of sense. Man, he's got Murakami batting dead last against righties. 7th against lefties. Okay. He hit his first Major League home run already. But, there's some choices. Like I said, I want to see what the evolution is of the lineup throughout the year and if the AI does actually keep an eye on it, you know? Oh, scouting. Sweet, beautiful scouting. We got a $16 million allotment. And let's be honest, we need a little bit of everything here, don't we? We really do. Outside of Colson Montgomery, I don't think we have much that is lined up for the future. So, you know what? Let's just say that we're going to start looking at starting pitching. I don't really think we're going to have time to worry about discovery all that much. So if we do scout position here for the starters, we will see who we can find with that base level of interest. And, you know, we'll just take a look from there. We'll just take a look from there. We'll try to be jack of all trades. When you're done with this, could you check what they have Vladdy's overall at? I sure can. Because he's right there. He's a 93. He is a 93 with his player card looking like this.
I'm just trying to walk through this fucking grass.
DTP or Prime DTP. Who's to say? Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Oh goodness, that's a big boy contract too. It's still nice that the Blue Jays kept him, you know. It's still nice that the Blue Jays kept him. I'll say that. God, your Savage is already looking like he's freaking 84 at the moment. Damn. All right, scouting-wise, we got that set for the week. Let's just see how the boys do. Is WBC in the game? It's an ultimate team, a.k.a. Diamond Dynasty. So the answer is yes. It is in the game. Is it in the game as someone would potentially prefer it to be in the game? Well, you know. You know. All right. Let's just keep going here. Like I said, I mean, there's no point in being like, yeah, maybe this team can be better this year. Like, no, we are definitely tanking. So let's see. We got relievers in the East. We got relievers in the International. And we have closers in the West. Just getting a general look at the pitching that might be available because we know we need a lot of help in terms of pitching staff. We're up to 11 and 16 already, though. That's not god-awful. Nothing about the rotation has changed yet. Nor the back half of the pen. Lineup-wise, looks like we still have Teal in second, which is fair. Murakami's still much further back. Acuna's had just 49 at-bats so far this year, but he is only hitting 148, so... Against lefties, though, Kyle Teal moves up into the leadoff spot. Okay. All right. That's not bad. As I said, we're testing out just, okay. They said the AI is smarter. Let's put that to the test. So let's see. Closer. Central. Closer East and Closer International. And then we will double-check some position players here. Presumably, we're going to have a high draft pick. We just went on an unbelievable run. An undefeated week. We're 17 and 16. How? I mean, granted, this division's not looking that strong, but oh my god. Let's see. We definitely have some injuries. Ryan Galaney's out for a month or two. Again, no changes with the rotation yet. Lineup-wise, still looking pretty similar. It's because the AL Century is also on even footing. I mean, that's fair. But again, this team is bad, falling upwards again. We're always very good at that. Very good. All right, so honestly, with catchers, we're mostly okay. But I don't think we have to focus on catchers this year unless there is just that one crazy good player that's projected to be there. And right now, at least, that's not the case. In terms of draft rank, we do have the first overall pick this year, which is nice. But Wendell Hazel is that top catcher that's out there. And he could certainly be pretty damn good. He certainly could be. But given the fact that we have Kyle Teal, we'll bank on kind of him being the guy. So let's just get a brief little look at first base. See what we have going on there. We'll take a look at everything infield wide aside from catchers. Got to cast a wide net here instead of focusing on just a couple of players. And then we had a 1-win week. There we go. That's better. That's better. Let's keep losing games. RJI, that is. That goes too fast. Thank you very much for the 3 months on the primer. Welcome back. Are you excited for baseball season? Baseball season. All right, let's look at those second basemen, too. I think we'll be able to skip shortstops as well, right? If we have Colson Montgomery, we're probably not going to need to take someone first overall. I hate that we're hovering around 500 right now, though. I hate it. Excited for franchise? Well, thank you. Again, this is what we do. First time, first franchise for every new game. Just a simple, basic playthrough. No crazy house rules like we normally do. And we just see if, hey, those new features that they're touting, do they work as intended at launch? Fingers crossed they do. And then, after we have fun with this, we'll always kind of branch off into doing some of the crazier stuff that we end up doing, whether that be another streamer versus chat, Draft of Glory, a Nation United, something. We'll figure it out when we get there. We will figure it out when we get there. Not excited about the minor leaguers getting hurt. Transactions. Couple of trades, but nothing too crazy. James Triantos for AJ Puck. Tyler Stevenson for Slater DeBrun. Jojo Romero for David Davilio. We need to do Warrior this year? Maybe. Uriarte's struggling in Double-A. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Trust the plan. RW, what's going on? All right. So we need to look at second base East, second base International, and third base West. Let's see who else we can find here. Can't wait to just absolutely botch this first pick. Okay, we have our first designated blockbuster trade. Interesting. Do I have a favorite baseball player? Shohei Ohtani. He's not, but at the same time, if you're like, well, what's the one baseball player you literally like, oh, this big at bat's happening and you'll immediately pull the game up on your phone? It's him, you know? I mean, legitimate answer for nowadays. Who would be my favorite baseball player aside from Mark McGwire? Hell yeah. All right, so this trade, Brady Singer, Tony Santillan, and Jose Trevino for Sebastian Walcott and Kumar Rocker. So Singer has 1 year left. 82 overall and progressing. He is getting better. 3.08 ERA on the season so far. Does not have any contract control, though. Santillan's a 73 overall C potential reliever. And Jose Trevino, the C potential 67 overall catcher. So Walcott's a 67 overall B potential, but it is trending downward. Okay, so that could end up very well being a C. And then Kumar Rocker's at a 71 and trending upward. I mean, I don't think it's the worst AI trade in the world. You know? I mean, it's Cincy sacrificing, you know, probably their best pitcher right now. And you get the Rangers moving on from two prospects to get better right now. It's not the worst in the world. I mean, Santillan so far, 22 innings. He's played very, very well. I mean, a 2.50 fielding independent ERA. Like I said, I don't know. I look at that trade. That's not one where I'm like, okay, they lied about the trade logic. Like, I can see the justification there. I can see it. Especially, too, I've had complaints about the trade logic maybe as much as anybody. So, I definitely got my eye on it. Let's see. Third base Central, third base East, and third base International. I'm going to save those final 2 to 3 weeks for us to really kind of lock down who we want to take first overall. We all know your affinity for complaining. Thank you. It's arguably what I do best. It's arguably what I do best. See, arguably. See. Okay. So again, shortstop-wise, if we have Colson Montgomery, the only way we're looking at a shortstop is if it's someone who is just absolutely undeniable. So, you know, we will continue on here with what we were doing by taking a look at the outfielders last. Yeah, shortstop and catcher, it's pretty much got to be, unless this player is a god, we're not going to take them. 29 and 35. Shout out to the guards being worse than us. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Good look at those teams' record, just see if it makes sense for Texas to buy. That is fair. That is fair. Now, obviously, things might have changed a little bit. I mean, they're in a race. That's for sure. It's still early, but they are leading the AL West. But I mean, the Mariners, the Astros, the Athletics, all at least 500. Whereas for the Reds, trade some good players now for good players in the future. I don't hate that deal. I really don't hate that deal. Rangers dipping though, 3-7 in the last 10. True, but also again, that trade happened 2 weeks ago, I think. So, yeah, like I said, at least for that first trade, it's just one. Passes the smell test for now. For now, it's early. It's early. All right, again, we got center field set up. Let's see. Yes, keep losing. Beautiful. 10 games under. Still, the Guardians are below us in the standings. How are they doing it? How are they doing it? All right. Okay, so yeah, we'll be able to leave those final 2 weeks or so for prioritizing who we want to take first overall, which will be nice. But I did always like that strategy, and I want to see how well that works this year, of just finding that little bit of information about players and then kind of prioritizing from there. But it also doesn't help, of course, that we need a lot on this team. And we just got swept by Cleveland. That's beautiful. Okay, so right now, as it stands, number 1 projected player is second baseman Doug Felton, a 22-year-old. I mean, like, at the plate, sure. Fielding, I mean, looks like it could be solid. I mean, obviously, he doesn't need the biggest arm at second. He's not bad. If it's trending in that direction, he's not that bad, actually. And then left fielder, Pedro Oliveros. Projected second, of course. He is still looking good. All right. Starting pitcher Johan Montez. That's not bad. Many,
I'm just
thank
trying
you
to
for
walk
the
through
follow.
this
Welcome
fucking
in.
grass.
Yeah, I mean, we could just take a look at the top players here. If we take a look, team rank, outside of like Johan Montez being swapped with Chase Cervantes, our team rank seems to line up pretty well, except for Mario Herman. Mario Herman is the big one that changes from what we know compared to what the MLB rank is. Were any of these dudes shortstops or catchers, though? Dudley Branch was the only real shortstop in that mix that was projected somewhat up there. So, all right. Probably does make more sense to, get more information on Doug Felton. Although we do have some info compared to others. Compared to others, there is some of that info there. God, do we want to look at Oliveros a little bit? I mean, we definitely got to look at Oliveros a little bit. Yeah, I mean, screw it. Felton could be good. We'll look at we'll look at Oliveros and Johan Montez. That works. So second, left, and starter, huh? All right. Let's be honest, we really don't want to botch a first overall pick, do we? 1-for-1 trade. Minnesota gets Griffin Jax for Kalen Culpepper. Okay. So, I mean, Jax is an 85 overall reliever. 25 stamina for him. 2.5 ERA on the season so far. 1 whip flat. 3.69 fielding independent ERA. Okay, 0.4 WAR on the year. Has 1 year of arbitration left. On the other side, Culpepper is a 66B potential at shortstop. Okay. I don't immediately hate it. Culpepper is getting better in overall, so is Jax, though. So, I mean, really, it's an elite reliever, especially against righties, in exchange for a prospect at shortstop. Minnesota and Tampa. I mean, Minnesota is in a battle with Detroit for that division. Tampa is right around 500. Again, I don't necessarily look at that and say, oh my God, what a horrible trade by the AI, you know? If we look at Tampa, I mean, their bullpen's not that good. So, I mean, obviously giving up Griffin Jax is a bit rough, but they bring in Culpepper while already having Carson Williams at short. So, I mean, oops, there we go. I mean, they get a bit of insurance there, but Jax has 1 year of arbitration left after this. So, I mean, for Tampa, it can make some sense. For Minnesota, they get that dynamite reliever that they needed because that bullpen wasn't that good. But it does leave them without a good shortstop prospect with respect to Brooks Lee, who is injured in AAA with a fractured arm. Again, is that one more debatable? Sure. But I also don't absolutely despise that move by the AI either. You know? Like, especially, too, we look at Minnesota's lineup. They're running with Orlando Arcia at short right now. I don't think it's not the worst deal I've ever seen. And they do have Byron Buxton hitting 6th right now, but then 2nd against lefties. Okay. Interesting. And then again, like Tampa's bullpen is pretty bad outside of Edwin Uceta at an 81. But also, they're not exactly setting the world on fire here. So yeah, again, that's 2 what the game has deemed blockbuster trades. I don't think either are an example of like, oh my God, this AI is terrible. They lied. So, all right, we have one more week here to lock down who this first overall pick is. Pedro Oliveros has moved in to that number 1 spot. Do I believe that? 92% scouted, 61 to a 74 overall, 82 to 95 potential. Am I wrong for not really seeing it with Pedro Oliveros there? And then there's the starter, Johan Montes, who's moved up into that 2 spot. And again, what I'm seeing there, I'm not overly impressed by. At least for a number 1 pick. And then what about, so Cervantes is at 31% scouted. I mean, obviously those ranges look better, but again, 31% scouted. And then Doug Felton was the number 1. He falls back to number 4. I mean, obviously I'm still liking the looks of Doug Felton, though, in terms of what he provides at the plate. He's fast. His defense isn't that bad. Good durability. I mean, I definitely feel like we're still leaning towards Doug Felton here. At 22, 10.6 bonus demand, 74% motivation. Plays 2nd and short. Okay. So we could scout Chase Cervantes a bit more just to find out. And then it's Manny Armas, who is also in the mix. Alan Ochoa, Mario Herman. Let's be honest, right? We're pretty much only looking at guys that we might actually want to take within that top 10 ranking with that first overall pick. So, I think we got to look at some of these starters. Do we leave Cervantes off the board, though? We need more than 31%. We need more than that. We will look... Honestly, Mario Herman's looking interesting. But then who do we leave off the board between Armas and Ochoa? It's also Valdez, which... just because he's already 22. And Tom Foster at center field. Dudley Branch at shortstop. And a bad feeling about how this is going to work out for us. Oh, just got a bad feeling. Yeah, let's look at Armas. And let's look at Herman. We'll take it from there. We'll take it from there with the draft coming up. We have another blockbuster trade. It's a 1-for-1. Cubs get Adrian Morejon, 81 overall reliever. 3.03 ERA this year, 106 whip, 25 strikeouts, 10 walks. Fielding, independent ERA of a 4.31, 0.1 WAR. So high rating, but not performing that well. Expiring contract. And then Kevin Alcantara, say C potential at a 68 overall. He is getting better. Plenty of contract control. I don't hate it. It's a 27-year-old higher rated but struggling reliever on an expiring contract. Right? Rental reliever for a mid-tier prospect. I don't hate that either. I don't hate it. It's super early days, but I have yet to see that trade where I'm like, oh my god, this AI, they lied. Again, that's what I'm looking for. It hasn't happened yet. I'm sure people will find examples, but so far we're doing okay. And that brings us to the 2026 draft, where we have the first overall pick. Our scouts like Pedro Oliveros the best, but I have to be honest, I don't. I really don't think he's the guy. I mean, he's not going to be an elite fielder. He's going to be solid against righties, but yeah, I don't see that guy as the first overall pick. Johan Montez, projected second. And again, I don't see it for the first overall pick. I don't see it. Second baseman, Chase Cervantes. 69% scouted. Nice. Looks very strong at the plate. Looks decent defensively. Good speed. Has a great arm. Wow. I mean, if that's accurate, he looks really good. And can play third base as well, so that arm strength would be great. Even if the fielding ability, though, might let it down a little bit. And then there was the other second baseman, Doug Felton, who's 2 years older. We have a better idea of what that potential range is, but might not be as high of an overall. But he also looks strong at the plate, good fielding, doesn't quite have the arm. Cervantes and Felton. It might be down to one of those two. What about starter Alan Ochoa? Based on what we know, not great. Again, based on what we know, it's not great. Obviously, the right side of the stuff category could be good. But the hits and Ks per 9 don't look that crazy. Only 20% scouted, though. Starter Luis Valdez. I don't think that guy's first overall either. Manny Armas. Good against lefties, not so hot against righties. Good control, workhorse-like stamina. I think it's one of those 2 second basemen first. Parra we didn't really look at. Then there's center fielder Tom Foster, who we only have 20% scouted, and could be a crazy power-hitting center fielder, but I don't know if I trust that. So it is one of the 2 second basemen. It is either Chase Cervantes, a 63 to a 79 overall that we know of, 78 to 94 potential, or Doug Felton, 66 to a 72 and an 86 to a 92. Felton is 22, Cervantes is 20. The fielding ability goes a bit towards the way of Doug. Arm strength, speed goes the way of Cervantes. Lefty versus righty here as well. We got to pick one of them too. Cervantes did opt out of the old doctor exam. So honestly, that's a bit rough. Healthy exam, though, for Felton. Felton's really persuaded by draft position. Okay. I am leaning Cervantes here, because it does look like Felton needs a bit of work, whereas Cervantes could be really good right out of the gates. But yeah, our scouts kind of let us down a little bit in terms of making the first overall pick very easy. You know? We had Ken Shannon, right? Ooh. Not that we take this guy first overall, because that would be quite the reach, but old Ken Shan doesn't look that bad either. Oh, we might have to bank on some of these steals. Anthony Gimsa and Sherwood Favre. And Mario Herman fell all the way down to 19th. Well, to the draft we go. First overall pick for the White Sox. All right. Cervantes or Felton? We know more about Felton. He has way more incentive to sign. You know, whichever guy I don't take, the other one's he's going to be better. The one that we end up with will be slightly worse. We know how this works. Doug. We're on Team Doug. When you can take a Doug first overall, you got to do it. Dougie Felton. Welcome to the White Sox. It's Team Doug. Doug will lead us to glory. Doug. Pick 2 is left fielder Pedro Oliveros. Let's see if he was actually better than what he looked like. And pick number 3 to Minnesota, Charles Pagan, who we apparently had rated 35th. MLB had him at 11th. We'll see if we missed out on Charlie there. So yeah, for Felton, we'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, we just missed Sherwood Favre in the second round. Damn. Obviously, we'll go back and see how good all these guys happen to be. Shortstop Dudley Branch is still there. Interesting. We didn't really look at the guy because we don't need a shortstop. I mean, from what we know about him through 5% scouting, potentially a fielding beast, but beyond that, But it could be worth the risk now. Aaron Dolan? Norman K. Only has 3 pitches as a starter. But obviously those future ranges look pretty good. Only 3 pitches as a starter, though. Walter Kim is apparently injured. Dion Berger. Obviously those ranges are nuts. He's 10% scouted. All right, well, that's pretty much the deal then. And Hunter Lance at catcher. Again, we don't really need a catcher. So, I mean, center fielder, starting pitcher, or shortstop. We don't really need a shortstop, but Dudley looks like he could be pretty good. We do really need a pitcher. We really do need a pitcher. Even if Norman only has 3 pitches, we need a starter. Norman K! Let's just throw a dart at the board and see if Norman was worth it. Worth a shot. Third round. Those guys are all off the board. So up next, closer Benito Vizcaino. Pitching quality leaves quite a bit to be desired. Good strikeout rate, though. Decent clutch. God, we did not have that much time to decide, though. Starting pitcher John Morrow. Could be half decent. Guadalupe Miranda, we don't need a shortstop. Richmond, we don't really need a second baseman now, but it could be him. Daniel Guzman at first. Looks like he could have crazy contact. Good fielding. Aaron Wood at first. Do we go for Aaron Wood? I don't think we do. We'll just go for Vizcaino as a closer. Why not? Third round's not a bad time. Hope for the best there. I'm afraid that overall could be pretty low, though. Round number 4. First baseman Tom Scherr. Christopher Casado at center. William Jernigan could be a power beast, but that potential isn't the highest. Walter Wickenheiser. Third baseman David Larson. Shout out to Dewwinkle. Got reliever Jesse Bronk. Dewwinkle's packing everything. Rory Papp. I feel like that happens at Dewwinkle every year. God, I don't know, man. I don't know. We got 13 seconds. We got 13 seconds. Maybe it is Tom. You know what? William Jernigan. Let's try it. We'll take the outfielder. Just for the fact that overall could be high. He's pretty boom or bust, but we'll try it. I can't say I'm all that confident in my drafting abilities in this game anymore. So Tom Scherr is still there. Could have that super high potential, but obviously the overall might be terrible. Freddie Trainer. Santana. Nobody coming up who looks like they might have that high starting overall, except maybe Kevin Thomas as a reliever. And Scherr could still be there after. Kevin Thomas, come on down. We'll draft an outright reliever. And Scherr is still there here in the 6th round. So we'll go for first baseman Tom Scherr. And that does it for our first draft. I can't say... I know it was SB, I know. I can't say I'm the most optimistic about how we did here, but we'll see. Home run derby this year is Judge, Alonso, Schwarber, Ohtani, Grisham, Raleigh, Soto, and Eugenio. That would be kind of fun to watch. And then the All-Star game. What do we have? A couple of Mariners making it. Actually, here, you know what? In fairness, let's just go back to the calendar. Let's take a look. Who happened to make the All-Star game for your White Sox? Right. Right. Jazz made it, and he's a starter? Good for Jazz. Kyle Teal has made the All-Star game. Way to go, Kyle. You were the one who was going to be the most likely for us to make the All-Star game. And he did. Not as worried about the futures game. So, midway through the year, we are 38-58. Rockies have just 29 wins. Cardinals on 32. Nats on 36. So we are bottom 4. That's not that bad. How are we doing so far? So Shane Smith, a 6-7 record. Meme number. He is up to an 84, though. He's gone up 2 points this year, which is not bad. Yeah, I mean, a 3.6 ERA, 91 Ks. Davis Martin still at a 72. Hasn't really improved. He's just a dude. Sub 4 ERA, though. Anthony K, 2-9 record of 5.32 ERA. Would you believe it, though, that his overall is trending upwards? I have to go back to the main menu to try to get those to turn off. Jonathan Cannon is also trending upwards. That's not bad. Sub 4 ERA. And then Sean Burks on a 5. Also trending upwards, if you can believe it. So, I mean, these guys are just doing well from the experience of it all. But, in the back half of the bullpen's been pretty good. Sean Newcomb has taken over that closer role. Lineup-wise, Chase Majoroth, a 259 average, 6 home runs, 27 RBIs. Also trending upwards. Kyle Teal's jumped up to a 78, 303 average, 16 home runs, 49 RBI. Colson Montgomery, 23, 55, and a 234. Also going up in rating. Benintendi. Yeah, Benintendi's got 17 homers, 40 RBI. That's not bad. My expectations were on the floor. Lennon Sosa, honestly, not too bad so far. Not that bad. OPS of a 690. Like, you know, for the expectations, he's got a 311 on base. Murakami has hit just 7 home runs this year. Damn. And the overall's not trending upwards either. Baldwin, a 219 average on the year. 229 for Acuna with a 38 RBI. So Acuna has gotten in. He has taken over. Might be because of injury, though, right, in left field. Because Benintendi's moved to DH. That makes sense. A 206 average for Hayes. Benintendi might be a guy to sell high on. There's definitely quite a few players we could set up here to try and sell high on. I'll say that. Let me go to file management. Let me save. So we're certainly not done with this, I can tell you that. But what I am done with is these goddamn alerts. Go away. Please. Go the fuck away. I am happy for people on my list that are getting good pulls in Diamond Dynasty, because Lord knows I would never get them. But my God, go away. All right, so Trade Hub right now. Market sentiment. Catcher and center field. Rumors. Twins could use an upgrade at first base. Royals and Dodgers could potentially discuss a trade. Blue Jays might be trying to land Jose Ramirez. Just Clay's opinion, man. Yankees appear interested in Willy Adames. We shall see. But for our trade block, well, there's certainly not much there compared to what I thought was there earlier. Yeah, let us reassess the block and the untouchables list here. So we didn't want to get rid of certain people early on, but now that we've played a good portion of the season, we can definitely look to move on for some people here. So again, a catcher like Kyle Teal goes nowhere. Edgar Caro, I don't know, man. So I just slammed my desk. I feel like Edgar could probably be dealt, right? Because like Kyle Teal is clearly the guy. Not that it's a bad thing to have another young catcher in the system, but like that's a good trade piece to get help in a position where we actually need it. First base, Murakami. Dio can also play left. It's true, but like his fielding, you know. Then again, we don't know what it is as an outfield spot, but the 55 arm accuracy, yeah, 51 speed rating in general with 57 speed total. Yeah, no, we're good saying Kyle Teal's our catcher. First base, let's be honest, if we don't have Murakami there, who the hell do we have? So, I mean, he stays. Second base, Majroth certainly goes nowhere. Sosa's not a bad second choice option. Zesty, what's up? We feeling good about the game. So I've only played, not even 2 hours of franchise yet. Hour and a half, roughly. Haven't seen anything horrible yet, but it's still early days. All right, third base, there's really no one to put on the block. Shortstop, though, like, clearly Colson's the guy. So, again, like, if we could sniff around the idea of, like, hey, Billy Carlson, Caleb, like, you know, potentially move them for someone who could play third base, for example, in a natural position. Left field, I mean, if it's not Benintendi, though, who the hell is it, you know? If it's not Benintendi, who the hell is it? But he is also 31, so I don't know, maybe we just say screw it, move him and bring in Kalanick, right? Center field, Acuna's not looking that bad. We got Hill, we got Baldwin as a good utility man. I mean, I can't imagine Hill has that much value. Austin Hayes, though, at 30, if we could move him, that's not the worst idea. Because you do have Braden Montgomery. I mean, Dominguez, we just signed, but I mean, hell, if we can move him, why wouldn't we, right? The team's terrible. Barucki is out for 1 to 2 months, so we won't be able to move him anyway. We'll add Newcomb. We'll add Anthony Kay. Pretty much the veterans that maybe they can get us something, but probably not. And the untouchables, definitely Kyle Teal. Murakami for now. Majroth for now. Third base is fully open. Shortstop is Montgomery. Center field, we're keeping Acuna. Right field, we're keeping Montgomery. Smith will go nowhere. Schultz isn't leaving. Hagen Smith isn't leaving. And Grant Taylor is not going anywhere. Trade targets, no specific targets, I'll say that. Although, I mean, we do desperately need a third baseman, right? Can't imagine the Orioles would trade Jordan Westberg, and they don't really have anybody in the system to target. Red Sox have Caleb Durbin and Marcelo Meyer. Marcelo would certainly be an interesting one to pick up. right? Because, I mean, it feels like if they're going to have Caleb Durbin, they're just going to kind of block the pathway from Marcelo. Yankees don't have anybody young that we're worried about. I mean, Junior Camanero's untouchable. Okamoto is in at launch, which is beautiful. Guardians, Ramirez is... yeah, Cleveland does have Jose Ramirez on the trade block. Tigers, nobody that we'd really want. Like, Colt Keith is there, but he is a C. Royals, Garcia's untouchable. I wouldn't want him anyway. Twins. Again, we're really looking for those, like, younger B potentials. I mean, Isaac Paredes. Correa's on the block. Right now, it's honestly kind of looking like the Red Sox. Candelario, Nick Madrigal. 52 overall, Anthony Rendon. God damn. Athletics, not looking to move Max Muncy, which is fair. Donovan at 29, not really what we're looking for. There really aren't that many, like, young third basemen for us to go out and target right now, for being honest. At least that have, like, that B potential. I mean, there's a couple guys at the C, but... I mean, like, Mark Vientos, Brett Beatty, but, I mean, the guys are both 26. But, you know, Red Sox and Mets so far. If we specifically wanted to look at third baseman. Nats at Brady House. He's also at a C. Ooh, Matt Shaw. 24, 76, and a B. Matt Shaw for the Cubs. That's a pretty good shout. 24, he's blocked by Bregman. Could be done. They do have Pedro Ramirez there, too. So yeah, Cubs and Red Sox so far to try to fill that hole at third base. Rengifo. Pirates. Cardinals with Nolan Gorman. He's untouchable. Diamondbacks are just so old. Why are you so old? Rockies. Nothing crazy. Dodgers with Muncy. Well, for third baseman, it's certainly looking like Cubs and Red Sox have those two that would fit our team really, really well. So Marcelo Meyer is definitely a target, as is Matt Shaw. One of the other big weaknesses we had was left field. So is there anybody there? Shocker, the Red Sox don't want to trade Roman Anthony. Honestly, that's good to see that they don't want to trade Roman Anthony. I'd probably complain. Yankee, ooh, on the trade block too, Mr. Dominguez. Not what you used to be in terms of hype, but the fact that he's on the trade block, 23, a 74, and a B, that could be pretty damn good. That feels like a no-brainer for one of our spots there. Nothing crazy from the Rays. Blue Jays. Nathan Lukes. Anthony Santander. Eloy Jimenez. God. Cleveland. Nobody too crazy. Tigers. Nobody crazy. Royals. We got one spot left for a trade target. Gabriel Gonzalez. 22, 62, and a B for the Twins. He is on the block. Got to try to find somebody better than that, but Minnesota's the fallback plan right now. Angels with Jorge Soler. Oh, God. Imagine wasting Mike Trout. That's all I can think anytime I look at an Angels roster. Rosarena, Refschneider. Rangers with Wyatt Langford. How was the draft? Lofa, we're not sure yet. We haven't gotten to that window where we've been able to sign people. I'm not totally optimistic we had a home run of a draft. We'll see. We will see. Let's see. Phillies, again, just nobody crazy. Joel Dragoo! What a great name. Shout out to Dragoo. Dalen Lyle is untouchable for Washington. Okay. Hap, Conforto. Well, it's not the best option in left for that other guy, but he might be the best option in general. Lars Nootbaar. Again, if we're just trying to get younger. Oh, Waldschmidt would have been nice. Arizona has him untouchable. Smart. Try to trade Gurriel to make room for Waldschmidt. I like that. Shout out to PS2 Classic, Legend of Dragoon. Dude, Legend of Dragoon was PS1. Hell of a game, too. Ooh, the Rockies haven't left Jordan Beck untouchable. Dodgers have left Yosu DePaula as untouchable, though. Shit. Maybe we aim high with the Rockies there. Giants left Helio Ramos. Yeah, so right now it is either we aim high with the Rockies or we go after Gabriel Gonzalez on Minnesota. Let's aim high. Let's aim high. And if we can get them to trade Jordan Beck, why wouldn't we go for it? So Myers, Shaw, Dominguez, and Beck are the 4 targets. Got our untouchable list, got our trade block options. And we'll see what happens in terms of offers over the next couple of days. And this is our first day to be able to sign picks. My friend's son's in the Miami Marlins system, Michael McDowell. You get a chance. What position does he play? It'll make it much easier for me. Frankie, what's up, dude? All right, so Doug Felton, top target. Norman K, and then you. So, Mr. Felton, we will offer a contract to you. Bonus demand is 10.6. Slot value is 1108. Let's see if he'll take 10.73. All right, first overall pick, Doug Felton has signed. Question will be whether or not he was worth signing. We don't know yet. We do not know yet. Norman K, we can't offer a deal to. Vasquez, we can. Bonus demand is 882. Let's see if he takes it. He does. Benito Vizcaino has signed. Tom Scherer has declined for the moment. Frankie, no issues so far. It's very early days. But so far, so good. Okay, let's dissect this one. Red Sox pick up Willy Adames from the Giants. Along with Luis Arias, Sam Henches, and JT Brubaker for Franklin Arias, Kyson Witherspoon, and Miguel Blay. Right. So, I mean, Willy Adames, 87 overall for the shortstop. 235 average, 817 on base slugging, good old OPS, 350 on base. Has a lot of term and a lot of salary heading his way. They also acquired Luis Arias, who's on the last year of his deal, making a fair amount of money. 680 OPS, so he's been struggling a little bit. 320 on base, though. Struggling a little bit. Slugging's not that great, but okay, so he hasn't been that bad. Henches, $1.4 million this year and next. 71 overall. Hasn't been that great. 0.2 war. Like he's been a reliever, right? He's been a reliever. And I mean, Arias wasn't as worried about that, but Hockey Kid, yes, it is. So, I mean, again, it's Adames, right? And then Brubaker as a reliever has got 1 year left on his deal after this. And Brubaker has been pretty good this year, but he's been in AAA. Okay, so a good AAA reliever. A very solid Major League reliever. And then Arias and Adames for Franklin Arias, the young shortstop. B potential, obviously growing in overall. Plenty of contract control and term. And then Witherspoon, C potential, 66 overall. Down in AAA at the moment. And then Miguel Blay has been in AA at 62C. Okay. So the way this reads, Giants give up Adames, also shed a ton of salary in general by moving on from Arias. And obviously, like, Hentges isn't that bad either. Brubaker's been okay. Daniel, no, it is not. Just a straightforward playthrough for the moment. Basically, this comes down to whether or not you feel like... This comes down to whether or not the AI is really factoring in Adames as a cap dump. I mean, they're certainly factoring in Arias as a cap dump. But, I mean, they get two younger players to build around. And in fairness, Miguel Blay as well, you know, has a lot of contract control still. So, I mean, it's a lot of younger dudes, 20, 21, and 22 respectively, for just a lot of veterans shedding a lot of cap. I mean, Adames so far this year, 350 on base, 813 OPS. He's been good. 2.4 WAR total on the year. Interesting. Oh my God. Red Sox are 58 and 40. They're 2 games up on the Yankees. I mean, it makes sense from the Red Sox perspective to give up prospects to get better. For the Giants, not the worst idea. They're, way back. They're way back. I don't hate it. You could argue whether or not they got back enough value for Adames, but again, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I mean, you could argue whether or not San Fran would move, Adames that early into a contract that big. You could certainly argue whether or not the Red Sox would actually buy somebody that was due that much money. But the Red Sox buying to go for it. Current strategy is playoff push. Ooh, and Trevor Story is hurt. He's out only for another week or two, but Trevor Story has been injured. Has a 211 average on the year. He's been struggling. 628 OPS, a 271 on base. So Story has been injured and not playing well. So it's kind of the idea of, do we want to go into the playoffs with IKF as our guy? And then Arias shores up second base a little bit in case they need someone else aside from Gonzalez. It also adds a good contact bat to the line. I think that's another one that you can justify, I think so. And I mean, then for the Giants, we'll have to see what they do, but I mean, that immediately gets them a shortstop prospect that they really needed, at least in terms of a B potential. Like, Dax Kilby's not that bad. And then, who else did they add? Who was the other guy that they added? I know they added Miguel Blay, who's just, he's dude, right? Who was the second guy? I'm blanking on who the second guy was. I don't think... It was a starter, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Witherspoon. That's not bad either. I mean, especially, too, some B potentials definitely seem like a bit of a rarity. Yeah, and they're rebuilding. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. By the way, for whoever wanted to see the Marlins, center fielders, Marcy, Ruiz, Pintar, Jones, O'Donnell, and Cam Canarella. See who they have at center field. All right, another big trade. Ooh, okay. Braves get Trevor Rogers from Baltimore for Cam Caminiti, Brett Wisely, and Riley Frey. So Rogers, 28 years old, last year of his deal, 86 overall and improving. 10-9 record on the season, a 4.34 ERA. 4.30 fielding independent ERA, 1.1 WAR on the year. Okay, so I mean Rogers has been... He's been all right. Been all right. He hasn't been amazing, but... You know, he's all right. Caminiti is 19, a 69 overall, but a C potential. So, I mean, he's obviously like the centerpiece of the deal. Wisely is a 26-year-old second baseman with control, 68 overall. And then Frey is a 23-year-old starter at a 65. I mean, it did say it was a seller's market. So is it an overpayment for Rogers? Yes. But also, it's not like they gave up this unbelievable prospect in terms of like an A potential or something like that. And I would imagine... Yeah, the Orioles are in the basement in the AL East, so selling for them makes sense. And the Braves are currently in a wild card battle alongside the Phillies, and then, of course, they're both chasing the Mets. Another trade that I don't hate. What can I say? Maybe I just don't know ball, but that's another trade that I do not hate. Let's see. Tim! I thought it was Tim. Tom, sure. Are you checking for reasonable trades? Yes, because they did say that they adjusted trade logic this year, and so far I don't hate what I'm seeing. I really don't hate what I'm seeing so far. Hey, there's our first trade offer. Okay. So the Athletics are offering Gage Jump and Steven Echeverria for Billy Carlson, Austin Hayes, and Sir Anthony Dominguez. So Carlson, 19 years old, 67 overall and growing, but a C potential, is our second best shortstop. He's got so far to go if he is ever going to be a major league bat, but he is really good defensively. Hayes is our starting right fielder who's on an expiring deal. 76 overall, but he's 30. We don't know if we're bringing him back. And then Dominguez is our 31-year-old closer who's making $10 million this year and next. But looking at Jump, he's 22. He's a 69 overall. Playing in AAA right now. We do desperately need starters. He's got a 4.06 ERA so far this year. I'm using the default roster. I am. Got a lot of control time. And then Echeverria is also 20. C potential in the 64. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, for the Athletics, they add for the now with Dominguez and Hayes, but they also get a bit of an insurance policy with Carlson, who's not bad, but again, like he's my second choice at shortstop. But we get a pretty damn solid starting prospect and another decent option behind him. The question is, do we think we could get a better deal for Hayes or Dominguez? But using those two veterans to get a prospect like Gage Jump seems pretty nice. I mean, Hayes probably isn't going to be back, and then Dominguez, I wouldn't mind keeping him until next year. But, you know, it's just kind of like the NHL player in me. I don't immediately like getting rid of people. Does the health exam even matter? It can. I missed this, by the way, a couple minutes ago. Probably like 20 minutes ago, back towards the draft. I mean, it can kind of indicate what someone's durability is, basically. Well, I said go to Trade Hub. It brings up a different blockbuster trade. Bryce Rainier, Teheran Aranzo, and Trey Sweeney to the Orioles for Felix Bautista, Chris Bassett, Ryan Mountcastle, and Andrew Kettridge. So the Orioles sold. And they sold hard. They get a 20-year-old, 65 overall shortstop with a B potential. Lorenzo's 22 and a 66 overall, and Sweeney's 25 and a 66. Bautista, 30 years old, 80 overall closer. He's got 3 years left, 2 basically after this. They get the rental veteran and Chris Bassett. They get the rental veteran in Ryan Mountcastle and a rental veteran in Andrew Kettridge. Tigers are going for it. Orioles get a good prospect back in the... Don't hate it. Don't hate it. So to that trade hub, again, Carlson, Hayes, and Dominguez for Jump and Echeverria. And if we look at our depth chart, how is Carlson ever going to play when we have Colson Montgomery? You know? Now, we could say, well, play Carlson at second or third. We just drafted a second baseman. And, you know, we still do need a third baseman, but Carlson could help us address the fact that after Shane Smith, we have Schultz and Hagen Smith, and then that's it for starters. We kind of get that fourth piece of the rotation that we're going to need. I do kind of like the looks of Billy Carlson from a defensive standpoint, though. I just feel like he's always going to be brutal at the plate. But as that defensive specialist, yeah, I mean, he looks great. A lot of contract control still. Excels a hitting first bat. Performs better when the team's behind. Basically added your number 3 and number 5 starter with the trade long term. Yeah. For a guy who at best is playing in a secondary position. Right, because Montgomery's also a strong fielder. I think we take that. So Billy Carlson, Austin Hayes, and Sir Anthony Dominguez to the Athletics of a nondescript location for Gage Jump and Steven Echeverria. I do indeed want to accept that. So welcome in Mr. Jump and Mr. Echeverria. And with that, honestly, positions, we're not exactly looking for starters anymore. Third base, definitely. Left field, definitely. Honestly, corner outfield's kind of the... Well, actually, in fairness, we do have that other young guy in Braden Montgomery. So, we did just draft a closer as well. We could just say relievers. Which works for me. So this is a data sign draft pick, so we already took care of that. Okay. So we go to the front office, then we go to manage. So again, catchers. Corey Lee is that backup catcher. Caro's still in AAA with Turner Everything's good there. First base, Tim Elko's getting better in triple. Second base, that's still looking fine. That's good at third. So then shortstop, William Borgola as the backup. Not to mention at shortstop, we still have Caleb Bonnemer. Or Bonemer. So we didn't even get rid of our best shortstop prospect. We actually still have the guy. That said, do we want to leave Borgola? Yeah, I mean, he's a deep potential. We do ideally need one more player in AA. But then the outfield. So we could call up Braden Montgomery, but I think we wait. And then right field, we just call up Jared Kelenic, or we go with like Derek Hill instead of a proper right fielder like Everson Pereira. Yeah, you know, let's call up Derek Hill to be that replacement at the major league level. 2, 3. Let's get Nishida in AAA. AA is then 1, 2, 3. We'll go Baker for the 4th, and then Varys is more of a shortstop, basically. And then for the starters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's a 6th further down. So 1, 2, 3. Man, AAA is booming. 4, 5, and 6, and then AA. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Vale. Can't move you down. So honestly, Adams and Gordon. I bought a custom Kelenic jersey in anticipation of you calling him up. Hey, never say never. It might happen. It could still happen. All right, Tyler Gilbert. Welcome back to the majors. Jordan Leisure, welcome to the majors. And Eric Fetty. Old Eric Fettylap, welcome up. And then AAA, we are going to need some options. Gonna need some options. Good thing we have a bunch of relievers ready to go. Any restrictions or handicaps? Nope. This is just our straightforward franchise that we start the year with pretty much every time. Just testing the waters, testing the new features, seeing if things are working as they mentioned, hopefully not finding any game-breaking issues like we did for NHL. Oh, goodness. We were very good at finding game-breaking issues for NHL this year. We were so good at it. Oh, my God. We were so good at it. Ah, shit. We have too many people. Oh, too many starters in AAA. That means I got to send Kai Bush down to single. But yeah, we'll get into the weird house rule series or streamer versus chat, all that fun stuff that we always do. How do we have too many people in the majors? Hello? And hello to those in the YouTube chat, by the way. I saw you, don't worry. Guess we just have one too many relievers in general. Eric Fetty, I'm so sorry. You're getting DFA'd after all. Sorry, buddy. I miscalculated. So the Giants are really selling. They got rid of Willy Adames, and now they have sent Rafael Devers back to the AL East. But he lands with the Blue Jays in a 1-for-1 deal with 19-year-old shortstop, the 65 overall JoJo Parker. Devers at an 89 overall. So obviously this is the Giants again getting rid of age, getting rid of cap, and maybe not getting the craziest return back. I mean, I think this is the first one where you could say, like, okay, the AI probably should have gotten more, and Devers shouldn't be viewed as, like, that negative into cap. You know, like, negative value cap like we see in NHL. But he's also not playing well right now, so let's see. He's got an 804 OPS, 322 on base. Only a 1.4 WAR on the season, so I mean, like, he's still playing well, but he's not destroying worlds, right? So I think this is the first one if someone wanted to say, like, I don't know about that. But at the same time, Devers isn't performing to the best of his abilities. He's getting paid a lot of money. And the Giants are in fire sale mode, and they just got this shortstop. Let me see here. Blue Jays and Giants. So for the Blue Jays, they now have added Devers to go with Vladdy, which is fucking nuts. That lineup has to be absurd. And they get rid of a shortstop prospect that you could argue they kind of didn't need. Like, they still have Arjun Nimala there, and obviously Andreas Jimenez is only 27. So, I mean, it certainly makes sense from the Blue Jays' perspective. Although, holy hell, the money. From the Giants' perspective, they clear out more cap. They make room for Bryce Eldridge to be the number one at first base. And now at shortstop, not only did they add Franklin Arias from the Adames trade to Boston, but they added JoJo Parker. I can see what they're going for. What the AI is going for here. I do agree, like, you can look at it from the Devers perspective and just be like, maybe they should have gotten more for that. I can't disagree with that. If someone wants to say, like, I don't know, man, that trade's pretty rough, I can't fight you on it, you know? But we do know the Blue Jays are in this frickin' mosh pit of an AL East, trying not to fall too far back from the Yankees and the Red Sox. And the Giants right now are 43-60. I mean, they are one of numerous teams in the NL that are just getting pumped. But yeah, I mean, Devers wasn't playing up to what he was getting paid either, so I do think it's justifiable. But again, if someone wants to view that deal as like, man, I don't know, I understand, but also I do think it's more justifiable than previous years where we'd see deals and just be like, oh my god, what is that? By the way, not post deadline, but post that trade, Sean Newcomb is now our closer. We do live in a world of Sean Watson and Luka Doncic trades. It's true. So see, I agree with that. One-sided trades do happen in real life. The problem is, in the video games, if it happens too consistently, that's when it's a problem. You know, especially too when it's just like, oh, the AI is clearly just dumb and doesn't know what's going on. My argument always was that you, in this scenario, should essentially be allowed to play as the owner, not just the GM. That way, the GMs, the AI GMs, all have letter grades associated to the different aspects of their job, and that way you could be like, oh, the Giants GM has a tendency slider where he favors prospects, and his trading isn't that good in the first place, so he got what he wanted with a prospect, but he left room on the table. He could have gotten more because his fair value is a C. You know? Like, I feel like these games would have a better built-in defense if you had that element to staff ratings, which they don't. So then you lose that built-in defense, right? All right. Obviously, this team's still going to be pretty bad, but at least we're working younger players into the lineup. Say as long as 9 out of 10 trades make sense out of the gates, it's fine. I don't disagree. But yeah, for me, this was the big thing, right? Was like, hey, trade logic, but also how the AI factor in player utilization. That's what I was excited for. And we'll continue to see how it plays out. Have you considered this pack has a platinum jersey? That's RGB. Okay, we get a trade offer. From the Rockies, they do offer up Jordan Beck, but it would take Caleb Bonemer. But we'd also get 32-year-old reliever Jimmy Herget. Again, we have the guy at shortstop, right? In Colson Montgomery. But good old Bonemer could be that guy to play third base in the future. He's not as good defensively as the guy that we did trade in that prior deal, but he does have a higher potential, so. The problem is Jordan Beck is already 24. He's well-rounded, but he's not amazing at anything. And then Jimmy Herget for us is just dude, right? He is just a guy that can throw a baseball right now. He's been fine this year. He is literally just dude. Problem is, I don't know what else the Rockies have that we would even want, you know? But, I mean, that's 20 and a 67 for a 24 and a 73. Beck was like that only promising young left fielder we could get our hands on, though. That was the issue. There's a reason why he was one of our trade targets. That is like the only guy we can actually get our freaking hands on right now. Stadium swap, think they'd go for it, right? Left field bidding wars could lead to high prices. It has switched over apparently to a bit of a buyer's market. If we were to counter this, like Caleb Bonemer again would have to be the guy in this deal, which again would mean our other young shortstop is gone, but we have Colson Montgomery. You know, third base is still the big question. Second base, there's some questions there too. It depends on how the draft went. Giants single-handedly made it into a buyer's market, right? But you look at Jordan Beck, he slots in perfectly in left to take over for Benintendi. That would leave, in theory, Beck, Acuna, and Braden Montgomery as the future outfield, which doesn't look that bad if these guys develop. Again, there were no other good young left fielders either. And both Beck and Herget are top 7 players for the Rockies. They're not willing to trade Hunter Goodman. They're not willing to trade Tovar. Look at Mickey Moniak. First overall, Mickey Moniak turning it around. You love to see that. Well, in terms of prospects, instead of Herget, we could ask for Juan Miella. Just as a younger reliever. Because outside of that, you're looking at like Tyler Freeman in center, Victor Vodnik, Chase Dollander? I don't think it would hurt to ask for Chase Dollander, right? I mean, he is 24, but it is a B potential and a 68. They refused to move Kyle Karros. So, in my mind, no to Jimmy Herget, who is on the trade block for them, because he's just a dude. Ask for Chase Dollander. And if they're not willing to give up Dollander, then we counter again and say Juan Miella. B Major, 53 months. Let's Good to see you, dude. I hope you've been well. I know you've been busy. But I appreciate you as always. As always. No flow as well. What's up, dude? What's up? All right. Not bad. Not bad at all. Life's lifing, but we're here. I understand that. Good Lord, don't I understand that? Let's try this. If we're going to trade Boneham, it'll be for Beck and Dollander. Will they take it? They're considering it. Okay. I mean, I like that counter if they'll take it. We'll see. Not that many days left until the deadline. Can we finally get K to sign? Yes, so Norman K is signed. Kevin Thomas has also signed. So we have signed the entirety of our draft class. Now we just have to hope that they're good. The Rockies have countered Jordan Beck, Jimmy Herget, and Antonio Senzatella for instead Edgar Caro and reliever Sean Newcomb. Similar situation where it's a B potential guy who's second best in that position. Early thoughts on franchise major. We got 2 hours or so into it. So far, so good, but it's very early. But in terms of changes, do I feel like the AI is smarter? A little bit. But again, it's early. But I have noticed like the lineup management that was mentioned. It looks better. Trade offers, I'm liking what I see. You're right, there is another offer. Jesus. Boneham, Caro, and Benintendi for Beck and Michael Lorenzen. Well, I definitely don't like that. Although, if we were to do that, it would get Benintendi out. Beck would immediately step into left. And then, obviously, Lorenzen's, like, it would be a cap dump, basically. But giving up both Caro and Boneham isn't happening. 7-year contract for that center. So, 7 years, as in, that's the contract control that you have. Renewable time plus arbitration time. Because, again, there's a lot of prospect control in baseball. I gotta be honest, I don't like either of those responses. I really do prefer Caleb Boneham for Beck and Dollander. Boneham and Caro in one deal is way too much. And then Caro and Newcomb for Beck. I mean, Newcomb and Herget's just a swap, and then Senzatella's nothing. So I'm going to say no to that as well. If I'm giving up Boneham, I want Beck and Dollander. Simple enough. Parker Meadows will be heading to Diamondbacks soon, allegedly. Where else are hoping to improve the market? Tigers are interested in Jose Ramirez, who still hasn't been moved. Those are still the guys we have on our block. The untouchable list, by the way, we should probably update. Given certain moves, right? So I'm just double checking here while we're here, right? Why not? Yeah, it was primarily with the starter, right? So Gage Jump is going nowhere. Echeverria, we'd at least be willing to listen. And then Myers, Shaw, Dominguez, and Beck are still the trade targets. Not bad. Could obviously go to the Yankees and offer them a deal. But I'm kind of intrigued that they'll come to us. Okay, Rockies have declined that trade. So if we go to that trade hub, we had a secondary play here. They have offered a couple of counters again. Boneham, K, and Newcomb for Beck and Lopez. Caro, Benintendi, and Newcomb for Beck and Freeland. Interesting. So Nicky Lopez, 66 overall, C potential. Can't see how old he is from here, can I? Nicky, how old are you? 31 at this point? I mean, it gets rid of Anthony Kay, it gets rid of Newcomb, but I'm not digging that. And then Caro, Benintendi, and Newcomb for Beck and Freeland. Freeland at this point is how old? 32. Yeah, we're gonna counter that. So I don't want Freeland. Give me Miea and Beck. Honestly, you can take Newcomb. Maybe. No, you can't, actually. I lied. Instead of Edgar Caro, Caleb Bonham for Beck and Miea. We'll see what they do. As we hit the trade deadline. So that deal might not get done. Ooh, overall value of your offer was a bit light. We see Bonham as a fit. Maybe this works. So the Rock, I'm digging it though. We're in some negotiations. There's also the deadline to sign picks, but I think the day went through. It did. We were close, but we could not figure it out. I will say, deadline day, give us an NHL-like window, please. That'd be great. Shout out to Yoshi for the raise. I appreciate it. Welcome in. So, I mean, at the moment, it's not the worst thing in the world that we weren't able to move Edgar Caro or Caleb Bonham. Like, it just means we have these prospects still to do what we got to do, right? It's not a bad thing at all. The question now, small stream but high. Well, hey, I appreciate it. It's fine. I appreciate the small streamers just as much as the big streamers. Trust me. How was your first night? Dead by Daylight of all things too, huh? Why do you want to get rid of Boney? Just because we already have a good shortstop, right? Like he's never gonna start over Colson Montgomery. So, you know, if we can use him to get a good left field prospect, you know. I play Dead by Daylight, but enjoy sports games. Fair enough. We've come to the right place. Played MLB since 2005. Good first year to play, too. All right. Here we go. How did we do in the draft? We got one more day. And actually, do we have time? Transactions? No, we don't. Oh, that's right. The deadline's the day after. All right. How did we do draft pick-wise? First overall, Doug Felton. He's okay. 67 overall, B potential. It's not this gigantic swing and a miss, but he's definitely not exactly what you want from a first overall pick, unfortunately. That's okay. Next up, Norman K. is okay. 67 overall, C potential. Not bad. Not great. Also only had 3 pitches. Yoshi, all good again. I appreciate the red. Next up, the closer, Benito Vizcaino. 65 overall, A potential. Not too bad. I forget how old he was. He was 21. That's not bad. That's not bad. He's got some development, but it looks like closers can still be pretty strong. William Jernigan. Big miss. D potential, 64 overall. Had some power to his game, but that was about it. That was, 4th round? So that was a pretty blind pick. Kevin Thomas, also a bit of a miss on a D potential. And Tom Scherer, 43 overall, C potential. I'm a bit cooked in terms of my drafting ability, apparently. It's been a little bit. I'm a little bit cooked. in terms of my drafting ability, as it turns out. But I'm mainly happy that I didn't just completely botch the first overall pick because we could have. So from there, Cleveland's top pick was Ken Chan. 70 overall, 83B potential at 21. That's okay. That's okay. I mean, would you rather have him or Felton, right? Probably maybe Chan. I don't know. They didn't get anybody else of at least a B potential except Terry Paul, who's a 49 overall at 22 years old. So, 22-year-old was your first pick. Look, man, there didn't appear to be that many good players. Especially, too, I wasn't seeing Aaron Ivey on that list. I blame my scouts. But 65 overall at 22, so, I mean, it's going to take him a while to be ready at a 65 overall. And then closer, Jeff Coppen, 71 overall at 22. Couple good picks here for Detroit. Kansas City, Johan Montez, who we almost picked. He's good. He is good. Was almost an A potential. He probably would have been better than the second baseman that we took. Cervantes was the other second baseman we were tempted to pick. Thank God we didn't take him first overall. Oh, my God. And then Bill Trayer is also okay. He is okay. 49 overall, though. Minnesota, Charles Pagan was the third overall pick, and he's not bad. 63 at 18, high B. Dudley Branch was only a 53. Walter Hayashi, 59 overall. Ahmad Stokes is a 57. Christopher Casado, 50 overall, but damn, what a player. And then Mario Reyna is a 46. So, some good values for Minnesota. How many of these guys are actually going to develop outside of Pagan? That's the question. Houston, Jonathan Randolph, not bad. 61 overall for him. Ochoa at a 62. Sizemore at a 57. And Peter Perez at a 58. Okay. Nobody else outside of that. Not bad for Houston. 4 straight starters, too, for the Astros. That's nuts. Time to fire the scouts. So we're definitely going to hope to improve them. I'll say that. I might have to take a different strategy, too. The Angels kind of missed with their first pick. Troy Ryan's a 61, and Guadalupe Miranda's a 48. So, not the best there. Athletics. Not the best first pick with Floyd Liss. I mean, he's not bad for a C. He's a 65. 58 overall for Keaton McKee, and a 55 for Jose Palmero. And at the bottom here, a 49 overall for David Murdoch. So, I mean, you know, there's some elements to like about that, but they're going to take a bit to be good. Seattle's Manny Armas, 62 overall. Cristobal Ramirez is a 51. Texas with Ben Baez, 66 overall. That would have been the guy. He wasn't even on our radar. And then Andreas Santana's a 46 overall, so not that great. Atlanta blew it at the beginning of the draft. 52 for Salazar. 63 for Hahn. 60 for Gino Turley. And a 61 for Hayden Davis. I mean, they recovered a bit at the end, but some rough couple picks there. Miami with Eduardo Saenz. 55 overall at 18. He'll take forever to develop. Mets, Tim Rubin, 63 overall. Brian Hall's a 54. Danny Harris is a 56. Well, no generational talents that I've missed out on so far, so that's good. Will Acquia. Will, very Polish. 65 overall, not bad. Robert Spalding's a 49. Washington with Ryan Calderon at a 61. That's not that bad. Cubs take Thomas Sharp, who's a 66. Yamazaki, a 64. So, I mean, were there better players? Yes. But so far, like, did I miss out on anybody crazy? No. It definitely does look like a weaker draft. I mean, look at, like, Claudio Macias. Yeah, like, at least we didn't do that with the first overall pick, you know? Brewers, Marcelo Pena, 70 overall closer. It's a good pick. He's 23. Pirates, Valdez, 67 overall at 22. Case in point, were there better players? Yes. Valdez, I don't even think was on our radar either. Yeah, I'm not too happy with how the scouting went for season 1. St. Louis, Mario German, It's not bad for a C at a 65. Connor Hawk is a 61 overall, 63 for Walter Kim, 57 for Jess Bronk. It's a pretty good draft for the Cards. Diamondbacks, Richard Houseman's a 58 overall at 18. Yeah, I mean, we definitely, we didn't blow it, but we did not hit the proverbial home run in that draft. Rockies with Jeff Harrington, who's a 58. Patrick Mitra is a 71. Sherwood Favre is a 62. And Damon Gomez is a 56. Dodgers with Sinclair, who's a 60. And Tom Yu, who's a 44. Definitely still a lot of players with low overalls to start. Padres, Martin Escobar is a 48 overall. John Morrow's a 53. Jesse Miller's a 51. Not great. Giants with Tom Foster. Good pick. 66 overall. They didn't get much outside of that, though. Orioles, Chris Harding's a 59. Not bad. It'll just take forever to develop. Webb's a 54. Red Sox, Jim Rogers is a 51. Chavez at a 54. 20 years old. So, again, great potential, but he's going to take so long to develop. You're talking, like, bare minimum 16 overall before you really want to use him at a major league level. Yankees didn't end up with a single B potential dude. Well, that's the news we did not want. He was the projected number 1. Our scouts said he was just kind of mid. Pedro Oliveros, the 2nd overall pick, was not mid. 19 years old, 78 overall, 99 potential. Bennett is a 68 overall. Burns is a 52. Merced's a 60. And Robles is a 70. Yeah, I mean, our scouts said this guy was mid. He's not mid. He's not the best fielder in the world, but he is pretty damn good at the plate to start. And he went 2nd overall. Guess who needed a left fielder and a second baseman? And he chose second base over left field. Fuck. I hate that the 90s and the 80s are the same color. I don't disagree. Could have used him badly. Blue Jays didn't end up with a single B potential dude. And then we're back to the White Sox with Dougie Felton. So again, Felton's not bad. But holy shit, is he not Pedro Oliveros. So, I mean, like, Vizcaino, like, at least all starting in the mid to high 60s for overall. But, yeah, we didn't get much in the back half. So that is a rough way. That is a rough way to go. Now we got to see what happens down the stretch here of this first season. That hurts. That definitely hurts. But it is pretty much par for the course. Colson Montgomery has a blister on me finger. Guess we'll send down a reliever. I mean, we can't send down that extra starter, so. Mr. Leisure, you're going to AAA. Congratulations. Well, first draft back, and we screwed it up. That sounds about right. It's like I never left. It's like I never left. Would Pedro be starting AA or AAA? Majors. He would have been our starting left fielder next year. At a 78 overall, instant starter. Not even a question. Not even a question. September 1st, 2026, we are 59-78, dead last in our division. But not the worst team in the American League. We are tied with the Orioles. We actually have a game at hand, but it's the Angels on just 55 wins, who are in the basement. All right, in terms of September call-ups, who's on the 40-man already? Edgar Caro could get the call-up. Let's go with Drew Thorpe. And let's go with... God, it's just all relievers. Schizoid, he's up there. That is one of the better players I think we've had. I don't want to call up Edgar. It's just Jordan Leisure back up there. I'll put like Tanner McDougal in triple. All right. Well, it is the game plan to get through this season. Barons have too many players. Son of a bitch. I gotta be honest, I am pretty nervous to see how the AI handles arbitration. Now that they're supposed to be better at that. AAA Ball Club finished 81-69 and still didn't make the playoffs. AA Barons did make the playoffs. Guess we got our throwback jerseys on for that one. So the White Sox finish at 72-90 in our first season. Playoffs will be Yankees and Astros. Winner plays Boston. You got Detroit and Texas. Winner draws Seattle. The other side, Milwaukee and Philly, with the winner playing the Dodgers. And then the Mets and Pirates making the playoffs. Winner plays the Cubs. Fair enough. So we finished as the third worst team in the American League. We won 5 in a row at the end of the year. Orioles on 66 wins, the Angels on 63. And in the NL, yeah, I mean, we were bottom 7 at least. Rockies on 55 wins, Cardinals of 56, Giants 58, Reds 59. So we had some competition in terms of tanking. Let's see. Player stats on the year. Our hit leader was Chase Major. Okay, that's not bad. 162. 37 home runs this year for Colson Montgomery. Not bad. Benintendi also hit 30. Teal 25. Murakami just 22. And Montgomery led the way with 95 RBIs. You had Kyle Teal on 73. Benintendi. I was kind of surprised to see Acuna up there with 63. That was the pause. Major out 22 stolen bases. Okay. On base leader, Kyle Teal at a 363. And OPS leader. Shout out to Kyle Teal, man. He was our all-star this year, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Montgomery, when he hit the ball, it went far. It was just a question of how often was he hitting the ball. And Luis Angel Acuna, honestly, did pretty well this year. And then strikeouts, yeah. 135 for Munetaka. Damn, we had 6 players on at least 110 strikeouts. That is not ideal. That is not ideal. Pitcher-wise, our win leader was Anthony Kay with 10. 25 saves for Sean Newcomb this year, 12 for Grant Taylor. Burke gave up 86 walks. Shane Smith led the team with 157 strikeouts. Team high ERA was Sean Burke at a 5.62. The lowest, Thorpe did well once he got called up. But among starters, it was Shane Smith at a 3.41. And for the hell of it, let's look at something like just total WAR. Shane Smith on a 2.0. Yeah, Jonathan Cannon was at least in the positives. Mike Vasil, Burke, and Davis Martin were not. And then fielding independent pitching. I mean, Newcomb not bad. But, yeah, our defense, the pitchers that did well, honestly, our defense kind of bailed them out a little bit. League leaders we'll take a look at once the awards come down, because that'll be kind of obvious who was really leading the way. So, I think we are good for that first season then. I mean, not bad. We weren't able to out-tank our issues, but obviously we missed a freaking generational player in the draft with the first overall pick. Like, that's always going to be devastating. The Boston Red Sox win the 2026 World Series, beating the Chicago Cubs in 6 games. I mean, I would certainly take that. And Willy Adames actually ended the season on the injured list. But, goddamn. Your scouts did lie to you, though. You also need to get a better scout budget. That we do. That we do. Damn. Oh, hey, we tried. The scout's about to be launched into the sun after that one. Yeah. Like I said, though, I mean, second base. We still got somebody decent. It's not all bad. It's not great, though. So in terms of the awards, World Series MVP, Caleb Durbin. Caleb Durbin wins the World Series MVP. Your ALCS MVP was Wilson Contreras. Imagine. And your NL was Carson Kelly, leading the way for the Cubs. NL MVP, Juan Soto over Bregman and Ohtani. I can kind of see it. He was a bit lower in terms of RBI. Surprised it wasn't Shohei. AL MVP, Arson Judge over Alonso and Yordan. That's fair. And it kills my motivation for this game's franchise in the offseason. I can't spend 20 minutes signing minor league guys. That's fair. Well, in theory, though, SB, they have a fix for it, and we're going to see how well it works. AL Cy Young, wouldn't you know it, Tariq Skubal. Rightfully so. Yeah, I didn't even notice that Alonso ended up in Houston. Because why not? How wasn't that displayed as a blockbuster trade then? Huh. Interesting. NL Cy Young goes to the 19-1 Shohei Ohtani. Jesus Christ. Okay. How didn't he win MVP again? Jesus. AL batting title goes to Aaron Judge. I mean, yeah, no kidding. Those numbers are fucking absurd. Obviously, he wins it off with the title there, but. And an NL batting title goes to Christian Yelich. The comeback is on. Fair enough. AL reliever of the year, Will Vest in Detroit with 53 saves, 64 Ks. A bit surprised it didn't go to Josh Hader. But. And an NL reliever of the year, Edwin Diaz. No doubt about that one. AL rookie of the year, Tatsuya Imai. For Houston, went 16-6. Wins it over Chase Delauder. Yeah, Munetaka finished third. He didn't have that great of a season, so. But, you got 2 Japanese representatives. NL Rookie of the Year, Justin Crawford in Philly, Sal Stewart, and Nolan McLean, the runners-up. Hank Aaron Award winner to Aaron Judge, Juan Soto. And then we'll check our team for Gold Glove winners at least. Yeah, Murakami finished third at first base. Chase finished second at second base. Colson Montgomery does win a Gold Glove at shortstop. Okay. We will gladly take that. Not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, I do kind of agree, though, that idea of, like, oh, man, we didn't get a Pete Alonso alert. That's a bit questionable. Really quickly, I want to check this. All position players. I want to take a look. How many at bats? I'm not really interested in the career stats, player stats. Yeah, season. There we go. I wanted to see what is happening. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button to sort. That's what's happening. That would help, I guess, if I was hitting the right button. But also the A button isn't helping to sort. Hello? Oh, because it's probably only going to show playoff stats. That's why. I was wanting to see who was leading the way in terms of at-bats. So, I mean, we know the Red Sox made it to the World Series. But I wanted to see if it was, like, the top players who were getting the most at-bats through the playoffs, and then obviously higher in the lineup. But I can't see the regular season stats from here. Fair enough. Fair enough. Retired players. Max Scherzer's gone. Verlander, Kenley Jansen. Coco, what's up? So far, so good, but it is early. So far, so good, at least from a franchise perspective. Darvish is gone. Let's see. Verlander and Scherzer both make the Hall of Fame, of course. Makes sense. Staff-wise, as much as I'd love to fire a couple of you, we'll keep you just because I'm cheap and don't want to spend the money. Will Venable could certainly... God, he is so bad. But also, it's a good thing. Tank Commander Will Venable, right? So... exclusive free agent negotiations. All right. So, Ryan Barucki, we are certainly not going to hit you with that qualifying offer. Do I even want to bring you back? 32 years old. 73 overall. How'd you do? How was Murakami? Okay. He finished third for Rookie of the Year. But he left a bit to be desired. I mean, Barucki was a dude. He was a dude. How much is he looking for? 4.9 mil? Yeah, no thank you. Sean Duke Nukem. Now at 33 years old. 72 overall. Had 25 saves on the year. He wasn't bad. He wasn't bad. He was a bit above dude category. 5.9. No. Lamont Wade Jr. wants 3.7. No. All right, we're not bringing back any of these guys. Not for those prices that they're looking for, because goddamn. Will Venable, we're going to keep as a tank commander. Because why wouldn't we? We can just send to free agency. All right. So, really quickly, again, renewable contracts are supposed to be automatic now, right? They are supposed to be able to be automatic. That is how we have it set up through tasks. Both renewable and arbitration eligible deals. The AI is supposed to be able to handle it. It's supposed to know what the hell they're doing. right? So we're going to keep an eye on that. Because we got a little bit of time to figure that whole deal out. Tariq Skubal's a free agent, by the way. Jesus Christ. So yeah, hopefully the AI is smarter. At the very least, you could be hands-on with the players you want to be hands-on with, and then just let the AI handle the rest. But really quickly then, for this team, right? Because, I mean, we definitely have some dudes here where I'm like, yeah, these guys could go. So, like, Jackson, Appel, like, just go. Michael Turner, go. Adam Hackenberg, leave. Drew Romo can stay. Josh Brew, you can go. Everybody else is fine. So Corey Lee is on the 40-man. We are going to take him off of the 40-man. If he gets claimed, he gets claimed. But that way, Caro and Teal are set up to be the catchers. Romo's not on the 40. First base, so Murakami is up to a 79. Odd second, it has this in the Bulls unis. Nobody else is on the 40-man. But Elko and Galaney would have to be. And my game crashed. Well, didn't see that coming.